Hello and welcome to the third part of Tunisian Crochet Masterclass. Today we will look at stitch modifications for the basic stitches that we've learned in the previous masterclass. So if this is your first time, thank you very much for stopping by. My name is Mirka and I make stitch and pattern crochet and Tunisian crochet tutorials. So if this is of your interest, please consider subscribing, letting me know in the comment section below how you find the video and liking this video. So without further ado, let's dive in. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you the basic modifications of the basic stitches. So I consider the basic stitches to be Tunisian simple, purl, knit and reverse stitches. And we will look at the modifications as extending the stitches and also the locked versions of these stitches. So I'm going to make each a modification or each part of the swatch in different colors, so it's easy to distinguish this. So we are going to start with Tunisian simple stitch. For those who are not sure or who don't know how to make this stitch and you just came across this video, I'm going to link down below the video to the basic stitches, the Tunisian Crochet Masterclass Part 2. However, I'm also going to run quickly through the basic stitch. So if you are not sure, just watch the other video or you can stay. It's a slip knot and we are going to chain a small multiple. All of these stitches are only worked as a single stitches, so any multiple would do. Okay, so I'm just going to go with 10 to make okay, so we then work the foundation row into the back bump of your chain stitches. Again, if you're not sure what it means to do the foundation row, I'm going to link down below the video to the basic stitches and techniques. So once we get to the end, for all of these stitches, even for the modifications, we are going to be working standard return pass. Standard return pass is worked as a chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way across. Okay, so that's our mini swatch. So just to recap on Tunisian simple stitch, we work the Tunisian simple stitch from right to left under the front vertical bar, then yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay, so that's first Tunisian simple stitch, and we are going to repeat this all the way across the row. Now we are going to get to the very last stitch, which is the end stitch. So this is worked slightly differently because it's worked under 2 bars of the last stitch. So when you look at the last stitch, you've got the strand of yarn on the right and one on the left. So we insert the hook under both of these, yarn over and pull up a loop like so. And again, we are going to continue with standard return pass, which is chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to work a few more rows for you to see the difference between the basic stitch and the modifications. And then I'll meet you back to show you how to do the extended version of Tunisian simple stitch. I'm now going to show you the modification of extending the Tunisian simple stitch. I'm going to go with the yellow for this. So again, the basic stitches will be in orange, extended stitches will be in yellow. So I'm just going to add the second color and start the extended stitches. The extended stitches are worked with adding a chain 1 to the stitch. So they will be slightly taller than the basic Tunisian simple stitch. That's why we need to start the row with a chain 1. To be able to have the edges at the same height as the stitches. So what we're going to do, we are going to go into the next stitch as for Tunisian simple stitch, and then add chain 1. Okay, Tunisian simple stitch and add chain 1, and we will repeat this all the way to the last stitch. And once we get to the end stitch, we work the end stitch and of course the chain 1 to get to the same height. Now, not to confuse this chain 1 with the chain 1 that the return pass starts with, because we still need to work the chain 1 and then work the rest of the return pass. Okay, so we will work chain 1 and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 all the way to the beginning of the row. So again, I'm going to work a few more rows. So this is the last color that we are going to be using in this swatch. So as you can see, Tunisian extended stitches are a bit less dense than the Tunisian simple stitches. The fabric is kind of more lacy. The fabric will have a better drape as well in your project. So the last that we are going to look at in the stitch modifications are locked stitches. So this will be worked as Tunisian simple stitch. So we are going to go under the front vertical bar, but we are also at the same time going to go under the front horizontal bar. Yarn over and pull up a loop like so. Okay, so again we are going to go under the front vertical bar and front horizontal bar, yarn over, pull up a loop. And we will continue working the Tunisian simple locked stitches all the way to the end of the row. Okay, for these stitches we are also going to be using standard return pass. So we are going to go chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. So again, I'm going to work a few more rows, meet you after I work this, and we will compare the different looks of the Tunisian simple and its modified stitches. Welcome back. So now I've added a few more rows of the Tunisian simple locked stitch. So as you can see from these three, it looks like it's the tightest stitch. It creates really dense fabric. So if we say that Tunisian simple stitch creates dense fabric, this is like on another level. The stitches are really tight together. If you can see, these stitches can be kind of pulled apart. This even more where we did extended stitches, but fabric on the Tunisian lock stitch is really dense. It's much harder to pull it apart. So if you would like to make a blanket, let's say, or afghan that is really dense in the fabric, I would probably recommend the Tunisian simple locked stitch. Okay, and looking at the other side, they look fairly similar except for the Tunisian extended stitch, which has got slightly lacy texture. Okay, so that's the end for this section where we look at Tunisian simple stitch and its modifications. So I've got small swatch ready to start to look at the Tunisian knit stitch. So I've got the foundation row ready. The foundation row would be worked the same way as we worked the foundation row for the Tunisian simple stitch. So Tunisian knit stitch is worked inserting the hook from front to back between the front and back vertical bars, yarn over and pull up a loop. when we pull up a loop, try to work the loop slightly looser, because Tunisian knit stitch tend to have a very strong curl, especially if you are pulling on your yarn, and don't pull the hook slightly above the row. So I'm going to work one row of Tunisian knit stitch together with you, inserting the hook between the front and back horizontal bar, vertical bar, yarning over and pull up a loop. And then we work the end stitch. Again, Tunisian knit stitch has got a standard return pass for the basic version of the stitch and also for the modifications. So as previously, I will work a few more rows of Tunisian knit stitch so that we are able to compare the different versions, and I'll meet you for the extended version of Tunisian knit stitch. I've changed my color to yellow to work the extended version of Tunisian knit stitch. So again, we need to chain 1, and then we work Tunisian knit stitch as per the basic version and chain 1. Again, we're going to go between the front and back vertical bars from front to back, yarn over, pull up a loop and chain 1. We will repeat this all the way to the end of the row. When we get to the end stitch, we will work the end stitch, chain 1, and then work standard return pass of chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, so this is how you work Tunisian knit, extended Tunisian knit stitch. Again, I will work a few more rows, meet you back for the locked Tunisian knit stitch. Welcome back. So I've got a few more rows of extended Tunisian knit stitch. So you can see the normal or the standard version, the basic version of the Tunisian knit stitch is a lot denser, a lot tighter, and it curls quite a bit, while the extended stitches are more lacy and they don't seem to curl at all. So now let's start with the locked Tunisian knit stitch. So we are going to go, the first step is we are going to go again into the stitch as for Tunisian knit stitch, but instead of going from front to back between the front and back vertical bars, we are going to go under the front and back of the horizontal bars as well, like so. Yarn over and pull up a loop. So it might get a little bit complicated, so I'm going to employ my trusty scissors and show you what I mean. So on the horizontal bar, or the chain that you make when you go back on your return pass, has got 3 loops. So this is the front this is the front horizontal bar, this is the back horizontal bar, and then there is another bar underneath. So there are 3 bars forming this section. So what I mean is we are going to go between the front and back vertical bars and under the front and back horizontal bar. So we are going to go between the top 2 and the bottom horizontal bars. Okay, yarn over and pull up a loop like so. So again, between the front and back vertical bar, under the front and back horizontal bar, yarn over, pull up a loop. and we work the standard or the normal end stitch and standard return pass. Again, I'm going to work a few more rows and then meet you back when we compare all three versions of the stitch. Welcome back, where we're going to look at all three Tunisian knit stitches. So starting with the classical or the basic version, as you can see, it kind of reminds you of the stockinette stitch in knitting. The back of the work is quite bulky, so the fabric is usually quite thick. The extended version is very lacy, very relaxed. It doesn't have as much curl as the Tunisian knit stitch, the basic version. So you can use it for lacy projects. It's not as bulky, although this section of where we go and work the return pass is a bit thicker. So it's quite distinct. You can see how we work the return pass. Well, you can't really see it in the basic version. Now onto the locked stitch. The fabric is slightly less bulky. It looks quite different. It doesn't really remind you of Tunisian knit stitch, I would say. It looks like a new stitch altogether. It's quite dense because you're anchoring the yarn in two places. So you work the stitch and then you anchor it against the chain of the return pass. So it's quite dense. It has got a nice texture to it, quite different to the Tunisian knit stitch. However, it's a nice addition to your stitch library. And so that was Tunisian knit stitch and its modification. So we are going to look at now Tunisian purl stitch and its modifications. Just to remind ourselves, Tunisian purl stitch is worked by bringing the yarn to the front of the hook, inserting the hook from right to left under the front vertical bar, yarn over and pull up a loop. So we will work one row of Tunisian purl stitch together, getting to the end and working standard return pass. Welcome back for extended Tunisian purl stitch. So with the other extended stitches, first need to chain one, then we work Tunisian purl stitch and chaining one. Welcome back for the locked version of Tunisian purl stitch. So as per the standard version, we are going to bring the yarn forward, go under the front vertical bar, but we are also going to go under the front horizontal bar, yarn over and pull up a loop. and we work standard return pass. Welcome back for the final comparison of the variations of Tunisian pearl stitch. So as you can see, the standard version does look like a pearl stitch in knitting. When we look at the extended stitch, similarly to the other stitches, it has got a lot more room, it's more lacy, not as dense. And then when we look at the locked version of Tunisian pearl stitch, the fabric is much tighter. It looks quite different to the standard Tunisian pearl stitch. This section where we lock the stitches on the chain section of the return pass is quite distinct, so you can see that the ridges in this section where we are locking the stitches, while on the standard version it's quite seamless. You can see this return pass, but it's not as obvious because the texture on the front is quite dominant, and it has got somehow, the locked version has got somehow a lacy look as well. If you block it out, you can use it as a lace stitch as well, while you don't get that with the standard version. So this was Tunisian pearl stitch and its modification. So I've got a foundation row for the Tunisian reverse stitch prepared now. So Tunisian reverse stitch, just to recap, is worked into the back vertical bar. So we're going to go from right to left under the back vertical bar, yarn over and pull up a loop. So I will work one row together with you, and then I work few more rows to be able to compare the Tunisian reverse stitch with its modifications. Now we are on to extended Tunisian reverse stitch. So we need to start the row with the chain 1 again. We'll work the standard Tunisian reverse stitch and add a chain. Again, we are going to go under the back vertical bar, yarn over, pull up a loop and chain 1. And we repeat this for each stitch in the row. We are working the end stitch, adding chain 1, and then chain 1 and yarn over, pull through 2 for the return pass. Welcome back to where we're going to look at the locked Tunisian reverse stitch. So as per the standard version, we are going to go under the back vertical bar, and then according to how we work the other stitches, we are going to be locking it into the chain section of the return pass. We are going to go into the back horizontal bar, so this gets a little fiddly there, yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay, so let's work another one together. To the back vertical and back horizontal, yarn over and pull up a loop. and we will work standard return pass. So I'm going to go ahead and work a few more rows of the locked reverse Tunisian reverse stitch, and I'll meet you in a moment to compare all three versions. Welcome back. We are going to compare the three versions of Tunisian reverse stitch. So as you can see, the basic version has got a nice texture, which you can substitute Tunisian pearl stitch in some patterns with Tunisian reverse stitch if you would like the bumps to be more pronounced. Now when we look at the extended Tunisian reverse stitch, you can see again it's a bit wider and it has got more flow to it. It's more lacy as in the previous versions as well, so you can use this stitch for lace patterns. And looking at the locked version, this is much tighter. It doesn't have the bounce that the other version have. It's not as wide because we are locking the stitches, so we are pulling the fabric together. But strangely, it has got some lace structure there, as you can see. And the ridges where the chains are of the return pass are again more pronounced. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you find this masterclass useful. So we looked at the basic and modified versions of the basic stitches, which was Tunisian simple, knit, purl and reverse stitches. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment on the video, share with your crochet friends who like Tunisian crochet, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.